Oh, and your name is?
Just Don Williams.
Yeah, we got a call. Well, it's a Facebook. It was somebody was asking about 911 calls, and was talking to the sheriff, and he said that there was two different types of receptions. There's a phase 1, phase 2.
Too late.
Washburn County 911. Where's your emergency?
It tells you the cell phone caller.
Yeah.
The number.
Now I'm going over here on this screen through my area.
Okay.
If you can see it, I added some coordinates here.
Sure.
And
GPS
here's his location right
There's
here.
his location.
That's where he is exactly on Highway 70, close to Tower Hill Road.
And that's a cell call.
Yes, that's a cell call.
And that's a phase 1 cell call. That means it's a good
Okay,
cover.
thank you, Mike.
So now, when we're talking about phase 2, then
Phase 2, you'll see bigger red circle.
is that you said up to a quarter mile
All right.
to a mile.
It could be up to a long way away. Because depending on the phase 2 or phase 1
Here, let
call.
me show you again. Alley. See,
he's
now
moved.
he moved. He was once over here. Here's the first one by Tower Hill.
Oh, okay.
And here he is going to, like, Carlton. He's
Okay.
past Tozer.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see how that tracked him as he's moving.
So you can actually track somebody in a car. Or something.
They have to keep calling.
Yep.
Because we don't do a live track.
Oh, okay.
That's how we find people in the woods that are lost. If they have their good cell phone
1311.
coverage, they have a good cell phone,
Okay.
we'll ask them to hang up and call back
That worked
again,
well. Bye.
walk a certain direction, and then we'll let you know if you're heading in the right direction.
Okay.
And then our deputies will get out there to help find them, and they'll call in on 911. So now the dispatcher knows where the deputy is, and he knows where the person that's lost is. So now they can get the two together.
Right.
So it works pretty slick. It's not a live track, but it's better. It's just as good
Right.
at this point for us.
And if you really want good identification, it's a landline phone.
Yes.
Nothing beats a landline phone.
Nothing beats a landline phone, because the cell phone only gives us the cell phone number. It doesn't tell us who's on the phone. Home line or landline phone, when you pick it up on dial 911, we get your address. It tells us who their police services are, who their fire and ambulance people are, who we're supposed to page out. It'll tell you on the right-hand side.
Right here.
Right there.
There's the
Okay.
townships.
What's a ghost call?
Ghost call is usually a phase 2. Am I right, correct, Don? It's usually a phase 2 type call. It could be any number of things. It could be just a tower dialing the number, or computers are a big thing now. What do they call those systems you can buy like in Walmart? You get 911 for $20. Well, it's a computer-based. And what happens is the computer-based uses the cell phone and then sends it to the computer, and then calls us via the 911 system. But it doesn't give us any it doesn't give us any information where they are. We had a lady call 911 from right here in town that came from Texas. The call actually came from Texas on a computer down in Texas, because she was set up with this software for this cheap 911 system that she supposedly paid for, and it goes all the way to Texas to where the original contract was developed, and then goes down to Texas and back to us. Well, we have no idea where to look.
Right.
Well, we're going to drive to Texas?
Right.
That can't happen. People need to be aware of their cell phone coverages. Not all places are good in this county.
Right.
There's just too many problems.
Right.
Another other problem for us is calling 911 for the stupidest things. And I use the word stupid because it is.
Right.
We get 911 calls because the neighbor's dog's barking.
Well, I was just thinking about this, Sheriff.
Yeah.
You've written about this.
Yeah.
And maybe we could talk about this.
Yeah.
What should people, and this may sound elementary, when should someone call 911?
An emergency. Everybody knows what an emergency is. We get a lot of 911 calls about erratic drivers on the freeway, on the highways. Well, we get a lot of those, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Now, okay, so what's a person to do driving through? They don't know our 468-4720 number. All right, so they're going to call 911 and say, this guy might be drunk. He's driving all over the road, or he's unsafe. He's got pieces of metal hanging off the back of his car, whatever the case may be.
Wasn't that kind of information you'd like to know?
That's fine. I don't have any problem with those.
They shouldn't be calling 911?
What we don't like is they get rid of their landline phones, then they try to get to us with a 911 on their cell phones about some piddly little thing that is not an emergency. And that just ties our system up.
Okay.
So we're going to start taking a harder look at using our county ordinance enforcing improper use of 911.
Yeah.
Because we only have a 3 incoming line here. You can tie up our 911 system very quickly if they're not careful.
Okay.
So we need to be real careful of that. And people will call us from Shell Lake or from Minong and Birchwood on 911 so they don't use the long distance. and that's not the proper way to do things
Yeah.
either. And there is a way to get around that. There is a 1-866 number you can dial into this county through the voicemail system.
If the kids are home alone and the parents aren't there, a kid could dial 911, hang it up if they were scared, and instantly dispatch will have the name, the address, phone number, and they can get help on the way right away.
Okay.
Whereas a cell phone, you couldn't do that.
So another reason.
Another reason to have a landline.
Yeah, or just consider it, man.
Because what happens if the phone is not good and they get a phase 2 call? They could be within 1 square mile or one mile radius of the pinpoint, and that could take us a long time to go to house to figure out where they are.
Right.
That's the difficulty with that. So parents need to be careful. They're leaving their kids home. Don's got a good point. They're leaving kids home alone. They should have a landline.
You highly recommend that?
I
with
definitely
kids?
recommend a landline phone if you're leaving kids, babysitting each other. That if they're old enough to take care of themselves at home, at least give them the tools to be able to call for
Right.
help if need be.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.